quite excited to be the winner of the Access Bank Womenpreneur Pitchathon class of 2021. It's been interesting. I don't really know. I don't know how to express my excitement, but I worked hard for it, and I'm sure every other entrepreneur, every other womenpreneur worked hard as well. But being crowned the winner is like a big dream come true for me, and I'm so happy. I want to say thank you to Access Bank, thank you to W Initiative, and may God bless us all. Amen.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly, reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold ya. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, 'cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day. Yes, we believe in you. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold ya. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. Inside of you, you're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, 'cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day. One day you go make a one day. One day you'll be like the sun, so one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment? If yes,
apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W Initiative of Access Bank with low interest rates, no loan fees, flexible repayment plan. This is your best bet for financing your health needs. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
the next one could be yours.
Business women can now access a flexible vehicle finance loan specially designed with their interests at heart. Are you a woman in business, or do you know a woman in business who is interested in purchasing a vehicle? If your answer is yes to any of these two questions, then this message is for you. With our exciting loan offers, women in business can now purchase brand new or pre-owned vehicles from the bank's approved vendors with an equity contribution interest rate of 15% and a tenor of up to 48 months. To get started, send us an email on wcares@accessbankplc.com. Share the good news and get on board.
Mommy, my tummy hurts so much. I'm scared.
It is well, my daughter.
Me self, I'm scared. You should be at your store already. Why can't we use one of these cars?
Who will drive it? You?
Sis, so we can't drive yet.
I beg, leave me.
Focus, Joe. Book that ride.
It is important that women do not only learn how to drive, but to fully understand the driving rules and be a professional on the road.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
This road is a one-way. Where did you learn how to drive?
This is why the W initiative of Access Bank has partnered with the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, to provide intensive driving training for women across Nigeria at very discounted rates, as well as other amazing offers, such as the driver's license process W community, or send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Hurry now and let's get you driving.
Wonderful afternoon to you and welcome to the Agri-Business webinar powered by the W Initiative and the Agri-Business Group at Access Bank. It is a pleasure to have you join us on this insightful, educating and exciting webinar as we inspire, connect and empower women on our journey to becoming the bank of choice for women in the communities that we serve. My name is Ifeoluwa Omoto. And I must say, as always, it is a delight to be your host on this webinar. You would agree with me that the agribusiness sector is one with a lot of women playing within that space. The African Development Bank at one point reported that women smallholder farmers constitute 70 to 80% of the agric labor force. Other researches have also shown that women account for 70% of agricultural workforce, 80% of food producers, 100% of those who produce basic foodstuff, and they undertake from 60 to 90% of the marketing. This then makes this webinar a timely intervention when it comes to the agribusiness sector. It is therefore our pleasure to bring this to you. So thank you again for joining us and welcome to the session. I'd like to start the session with the opening remarks from the unit head of the Agribusiness desk at Access Bank. Please welcome with me, Okoyemi Olutayo. Good afternoon, Okoyemi, and welcome to the session.
Yeah, thank you, Ifeoluwa. Good evening, good evening, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to warmly welcome everybody to this maiden edition of the WHAG initiative. And on behalf of the management of the bank, I want to warmly welcome everyone to this maiden edition. As you know, Access Bank has been the forefront providing solution, and we often pride ourselves to look for solutions for specific and for focused groups, including women and agribusiness. The bank is not only interested in agribusiness, but more also with a very keen interest for women in agribusiness, and that's what led to to bringing out this WHAG initiative. I'm sure you are all aware of the W initiative. Now you are also being introduced to WHAG initiative. Like Ife mentioned, the labor force in agribusiness is being handled by 60 to 80% of women. But these women are often or seldom noticed. they are encumbered with a number of challenges. And what we've done is to bring innovative solutions to ensure that these challenges, these pain points are handled and well taken care of, not only in providing financial solutions, we also want to provide advice support for these women. We focus on these groups, and we sincerely are pleased to introduce this solution to you. Like I said, we not only dwell on the challenges, we will also provide succor, we'll provide solutions to the women. We will also want to lift as many as possible out of poverty, bringing them into limelight, in the business that they do. It's a pleasure to sincerely welcome everybody. And we want to believe that this edition will not be an annual thing only. It will just be like a more frequent thing for us to bring ourselves together, network, look at solutions, look at the market trend, and see how we can better provide solutions to women in agribusiness. Again, on behalf of the management of the bank, I want to welcome everyone to this meeting edition, and I wish everyone a fruitful evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Okweyemi. It was a pleasure having you join us this afternoon. Once again, we'd like to say thank you for joining us from whatever part of the world that you are joining us from. We understand that a lot of people join from different continents, different countries. So we'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you from whatever part of the world you are joining us from. Now, you know that Access Bank has always been at the forefront of banking women. Like I said earlier, our aspiration is to be the bank of choice for women in the communities that we serve. And that is why a dedicated desk has been created to cater to the needs of women. The next person I'm going to introduce is going to introduce us to the W Initiative and what they do. Please welcome from the W Initiative, the team lead of the Women in Business segment. Welcome with me, Olubusola Ogundipe. Hi, Busola, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ife. Please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right. And please confirm that you can also see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right. Very well. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Like Ife has welcomed, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a great pleasure to have us here. I'll be taking us briefly through what the W Initiative of Access Bank is about. In 2006, Access Bank launched a program called the Gender Empowerment Program for Women. And this program was targeted at women in business in partnership with organizations like IFC to provide on-lending finance as well as access to advisory services for women. Now, when we had launched this program at Access Bank, it was identified that this was a viable project to go into, especially with the some of the statistics that Ife has shown, with respect to the fact that women contribute immensely to the economy in different fields that we find themselves, especially in the agric space. And it was also identified even further that almost half of the population across the world is women. And what better thing to do than to really cater to the needs of this segment as it may be. And then in 2014, Access Bank went ahead to expand our proposition to what we currently call the W Initiative. The W Initiative was officially launched in 2014, and we have, over the years evolved and improved what we are able to do and deliver to our women customers. Our proposition is basically not just one product, but catering to everything that has to do with the financial and the lifestyle needs of women. And like Ife also mentioned, our goal and our objective is to empower women and to ensure that we become the bank of choice for women, not just in Nigeria, but across every African continent, across the African continent and every location that we have Access Bank in. So the W Initiative is not only present in Nigeria, we actually have presence across 10 African countries where Access Bank has its subsidiary. And our focus is to inspire, connect, and empower women. What we also try to do is, we know that not one bucket fits everyone, or not one size fits every woman. We have the women in business, which we will most likely be speaking to today. We also have the professionals, of course, that have their 9 to 5. We have the W and family, and we have the Generation Z, which is the young generation coming up doing, exceptional things in different fields that they find themselves. And the W quintessential, which is basically a segment of women that have accomplished so much in their lives and are willing to give back in form of mentorship, in form of support, and grooming to people that are coming up, in this space. So these are the key focus segments that, the W is able to provide and deliver our services to women. Now, our key focus for today, of course, is the women in agric. So we'll be talking specifically to the offerings that we have for women in agric. Now, women in agric, typically, every woman in business needs finance. And for any form of, over the years, we've realized that, especially for businesses that are led by women, women have this challenge accessing finance. It could be as a result of the pricing, it could be as a result of, unavailability of collateral, and even, unavailability of even proper documentation. And so the W initiative has created a product we've called the W Power Loan. Now, the W Power Loan is a tailored program that is provided to women SMEs to access up to 100 million naira for their businesses. And this product comes in different packages because we have flexible repayment plans, which means that you can actually repay your loan from a period of about 12 to 36 months, depending on the nature or what you want to use the funds for as a business. You also have relaxed collateral requirement. Like I earlier mentioned, women typically have these barriers of having the required collateral to give for any form of lending program or accessing finance. We've gone ahead to give women access to up to 10 million naira without you providing any form of physical collateral whatsoever. You just be required to provide someone called a guarantor, a third party that can just execute documentation to say, I stand for this person. This person is a credible person to take a loan from me. Like the document already says, it's a very competitive pricing because we know that women always want to have everyone, of course, every business person generally wants to have the best pricing possible that would suit their business cash flow. And we've gone ahead to even make this as discounted as much as possible for women, as much as 6 to 7 basis points lower than the commercial business loans that you will get in the industry. And you also have opportunities to use the funding for working capital finance, asset acquisition, business expansion. So if you are a woman in whatever the segment of the agric business that you are, the W Power Loan is available to you and is the best option that we are currently going to be delivering to our W Agri sector. We also have what we call the W Power Vehicle Loan. Now, the W Power Vehicle Loan is a dedicated program that we launched in 2022 to help women mitigate their challenges of mobility around the business. So with the advent of COVID, we realized that a number of businesses had to shut down because they were not able to move their produce from the farm to the end users. And of course, we all identified that this was a very essential sector at the time because people needed food in their households. So this product was created to even improve women's access to finance to be able to acquire those kind of vehicles for their business, be it brand new, be it pre-owned, whatsoever kind of truck or bus or delivery vehicle that you need for a business. The W Power Loan vehicle is available. W Power Vehicle Loan is available to you as a businesswoman, and the interest rate, like I also mentioned, is as low as 18%, which is of course very, very competitive, in line with what the market is currently offering for this kind of loans. And your tenure is as high as 48 months, especially for brand new vehicles. Another form of finance that we have for women under the agric sector is what we've called the switch to solar. Of course, everybody knows what is going on around the economy, around the world, where a lot of people are switching from the basic fueling kind of structure to alternative form of power, including solar and the usage of LPG, which is gas, to create electricity and heat. And we know that a lot of farmers right now are even going into what we call the greenhouse farming, basically maybe for tomato and some other crop products. This particular funding is available to you to upskill your business using solar. So you can actually grow or improve your finances, improve your yield, because of course greenhouse helps businesses, agri businesses, improve the yield that they have on their outputs. So the switch to solar program is available to you. Up to 50 million naira accessible is available to you to access for solar panel installations. Repayment is also very flexible because it's over a period of 36 months, and you are going to be requiring to just provide as little as 20% equity contribution for you to access this financing scheme. Other programs that we have for women in business include what we call the cash flow lending, where a woman can access up to 5 million naira without any collateral. You do not even need to provide a guarantor. All we just be needing to do is look at your business, look at your cash flows, and determine how much you can get at a certain time over a period. This product is also very discounted for women as well, because we know that everything revolves around how much and revolves around how a business is able to, optimize their cost as much as possible. We also have what we call the instant business loan, where you can get, quick access to cash without any paperwork whatsoever. All you just need to do is, go to your QuickBook application and then make a request for the loan, and it's automatically disbursed into your business account with Access Bank. Next, of course, is our insurance products. We cannot talk about agri without putting into consideration insurance, because we know and understand the volatility and, of course, the high tendency of risk in this particular sector. And Access Bank has partnered with reputable insurance companies, including Coronation Insurance, to provide insurance products that would fit the different buckets of agri sectors that we have. So we have the indemnity-based multi-peril crop insurance, which is, of course, basically targeted at physical loss or damage of crops as a result of maybe natural disasters and things like that. We also have what we call the farm property and produce insurance, still revolved around, assets that are on the farm land or on the premises of the farm. We also have what we call the livestock insurance, like the name implies, insuring against loss or theft or death, as the case may be, of your livestock. We also have the poultry, the fish farm insurance for businesses that are into that space of livestock. Of course, everything that we do as a bank is definitely to ensure that we are able to cater significantly to the entire ecosystem of the agribusiness. And of course, as we go into the segments today, which is of course the women in agri segment, we are going with a mindset that we want to, impact the existing customers, and also even go back to the drawing board to refine what we have and give you much more to support that sector as it is very critical to us. So please, 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 do not miss out on everything that Access Bank W Initiative has to offer you as a woman in agric. This is the time to come on board, because this is a sector we've identified and we're ready and willing and even already set to do so much more for you in this segment. Now, as I wrap up, the W always has so much more to give you. And in the month of October, we always have what we call the W Health Month. Now, the W Health Month is a period where we talk about everything that relates around a woman's health. So her family, herself, everything that just makes her look better, feel better, stronger, to be able to, you know, be a better person. So if, of course, if a woman is happy, the family is almost happy. So we are introducing what we call the W Health Month, and we're bringing a whole lot of, you know, health programs, health screenings to just support our female customers and even non-customers. So please don't miss out on this. Stay tuned to all our W platforms, our social platforms, to get more information on how you can be a part of the W Health Month and be a part of everything that W has to offer. Follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, which is currently called X, and on Instagram. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. On that, I click on that icon button to get notifications on whenever we come online, whenever we have any content that is being shared. You have quick and direct access to all the information. And for any inquiries and complaints, please reach out to us at the wcares@accessbank.com. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely time with us today at the W. Over to you, Ifeoluwa.
Thank you so much, I am sure that we have all heard the amazing things that Access Bank does for women. Don't forget to share on Instagram, Facebook, and X. We are at the W Community. You should also click the subscribe button below so as not to be left out. Thank you so much, Busola, and we appreciate you for coming on board today. Now, like every other business sector, women who play in the agribusiness space encounter a lot of challenges. Now, having recognized these numerous challenges, which often prevent women from realizing their full potential, this webinar is geared towards empowering women in the agribusiness sector with necessary knowledge and skills and motivation to navigate the challenges associated with building and thriving, with building their conglomerate as they have envisioned their businesses. Now, today we're going to be talking about navigating challenges and building a successful agribusiness. And we have brought you two amazing women who are doing great in their agribusiness space to do justice to this topic. The first person I'll introduce is the CEO and co-founder of Fort Worth Farms Limited, an integrated farm that engages in poultry, aquaculture, feed mining, agronomy, greenhouse farming, and poultry agro-processing. She received her BSc in accounting from the Lagos State University. She is a professional accountant and an affiliate of the Association of Certified Chartered Accountants UK, from which she also holds a diploma in accounts and business. Under our guidance, Fort Worth Farms has expanded from table eggs productions to holding a great deal of the extended value chain in the agricultural industry. Fort Worth Farms has also been nominated for several awards and was awarded the Agricultural Firm of 2017 by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Eloy Award for Agriculture in 2018. She is passionate about women and youth involvement and empowerment in agriculture, and she believes strongly that Nigeria can be back to its glory days in agriculture. Please put your virtual hands together and welcome with me Ifeoluwa Ariyo. Good afternoon, ma'am, and thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Ifeoluwa, are you with me? Oh, I apologize. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Ifeoluwa. Thank you so much for that elaborate introduction. I am very, very, very pleased to be here, and I can't wait to add value however I can.
Thank you very much. It is our pleasure to have you here as well. My second speaker is a visionary force at the intersection of agriculture, business, and emerging markets. She has transformed small enterprises into international giants and brought life into untapped regions and industries. As an agricultural entrepreneur, she possesses a unique ability to innovate and create, thereby driving operational efficiency and growth in the food industry, which is evident in our journey with the IYL Foods, an international brand expanding its footprint across 2 African nations. As a business consultant, she is a master strategist, reshaping companies from the ground up. as seen in her achievement with Check Off Finance Limited, where she chairs the board and heads the risk assessment committee. Our journey is a captivating narrative of turning dreams into realities, scaling businesses, and fostering economic development. She is indeed a true trailblazer, making waves in the business world and inspiring many people to aim higher. Please welcome with me, with your virtual class once again, the CEO of IYL Foods, Ayeni Wuraola Ogunbola. Good afternoon, Ma, and thank you so much for joining us here today.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm very honored to be here.
We are very, very much honored to have you as well. Thank you very much, Ma'am. And so we'll go right into the discussion of the day. My very first question is going to go to you, Mrs. Ariyo. I would like to know, what would you say inspired you to get into the world of agriculture? I mean, we understand that a lot of people do that informally. You just have a small garden at the back of your house and you think, oh, let me just make use of the space. But we'd like you to tell us what really inspired you to get into the world of agriculture on this scale, and how has your journey as a female agripreneur been so far?
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for the floor again, Folua. I'd like to say that I found myself here. So I never really envisaged or envisioned that I would be in the agric space. I'd always seen myself as somebody who, would take up an employment kind of job. So a lot of people don't know that this passion actually started from my husband, and he actually wanted to have a zoo. So basically, this is him who likes, wild animals and all of the rest. And there was a time that there was an economic issue in Nigeria. At the time, I had teased him about, I had said to him that only if you had like animals that we could eat. And so I guess that trickled something in him. By the next week, I found chickens at home. And it just became very motivating that these birds in no time were laying eggs already that we could, eat and even give people. So yeah, Agric found me, and I never envisaged this. Now, for I think about 4 years, when we started the business, he was in charge of operations and all of the rest. While I had a job with the government, I was working in public service. I was actually working as an hospital accountant. And I think about 2015, 2016, he had to take up another job. And I had to fit in his shoes. So basically, I resigned from my job and basically had to fit in those big shoes. At this time, we had already started doing table eggs on a big scale, but just table eggs. So this is me who never thought that I'll be able to do this, or that I never planned for it. All I was doing behind the scenes was encouraging him, problem solving, when he comes home and he sees the challenges that we're having, and having to actually fit in or take over the helms of affair. But yeah, so Agric found me. I loved Agric at school. I always got, for my YEC and NECO, I had a star, but I never saw myself in the agric space. I never thought that, I wanted to be a professional accountant. I wanted to work in an auditing firm. And yeah, so that's a short story about how I found myself in the agric space. If you ask me how it's been, I would say challenging, overwhelming, very eye-opening. Yeah, so my experiences as a female agripreneur, I don't think it is very, very different from what a male counterpart would have had. I like to say that. This is not to invalidate any other person's experiences, but I think that where it gets different is actually from external stakeholders. So I'll give an instance. I get an email and everybody assumes I should be male. So this is good day, sir. I'm on the phone, everybody's saying good day, sir, Then nobody really envisages or plans or, thinks or looks forward to a woman being at the arms of affair. But within the agric space, I don't think that our experiences are different, except what every woman would say. Every woman would say it is, every career woman, let me say, it is quite challenging to, put together the home front and the corporate world. No matter the industry that everybody works. So I don't think it is very, very different from the agric space. Yeah, so that is exactly how I found myself in the agric business.
Oh, very interesting story, I must say. Get you a man who is able to motivate you. Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Ariyo. So I'll move to you, Mrs. Ogunbola. Can you share with us a memorable moment or maybe a funny anecdote from your experience in agribusiness that taught you something valuable?
Well, to be honest, I think when I think about this question, I have like a ocean of experiences, of funny experiences. But the one that would eat me the most would be my startup journey. Not even my startup per se, because I already started. Thankfully, it will be 7 years in a couple of days at IYL Foods. And it just takes me back to that moment. And, you know, it has taught me, it's one of the driving forces that I've had in line of my business. This was backstory. I had started doing the business little by little, and all of a sudden, I used Instagram as a leverage. At that time, nobody was going crazy about Instagram and all that. So I started counting down. You know, I just started counting down to something. I called a graphics designer, the person who was, you know, always designing our flyers and things like that. And I said, see, I don't think I want to, you know, start doing cooking anymore. I want to go into food processing properly. And I want you to design me flyers for egusi, crayfish, chili pepper, and co. And the guy was looking at me like, Madam, I don't understand. How did we get here? Are we doing this? I said, just do it. Now, I didn't have anything to start at that point. I only had the idea. I was cooking and selling. That was how I started. And I said, just do it. And so I went to Instagram and started counting down to nothing. I had it at the back of my mind that I wanted to do this. I didn't have the funds. I didn't have the resources. I did not have the raw materials. I did not have anything. I only had myself and my 4-month-old baby and my husband. And on my birthday, we're supposed to announce the big reveal on my birthday, the 2nd of August that year. And I just went, okay, oh, please, we are doing, you know, this. And my husband came to me and said, Wura, this counts down that you are doing on Instagram. I think you should go and tell them that you were playing, because what are you going to what are you going to come and unveil? I felt bad, you know, and then it was just worried for me at that point, like, don't go and embarrass us on the internet, basically. And so he left. Now, it wasn't up to about 10-15 minutes after I had left the house, I got a call. And this was from a family member who had been following my journey from when I started cooking to when I started counting down. And because I never keep quiet about my business, I never keep quiet from, if I'm meeting somebody today, you would know that I have a business. You would know what my business does. You would know what I'm doing that business for. So I just kept on, and the person called, oh, Wura, I see that you've been talking so much about this business. It's something that you really want to do. You've been going back and forth on this. And I really just want to support you with 100,000 naira. And at that point, I looked at my child. I tried to phone my husband, but I was using the phone. And I just said, thank you very much. I just sent you 100,000. And I got up. I remember wearing Dunlop slippers, grabbing my son, putting him in the car, and driving all the way to Agege to go and buy raw materials. Mind you, 7 o'clock that day, we were supposed to announce the big reveal. Now, this is a very funny story, but it was a big and turning point for me, because if that person had not called me to invest that money in my business, I don't know what I was. I honestly don't know what I would have done with my business, or I would have announced to the world. And that just says that to whoever wants to start something, or you're doing something, and you think that nobody has your back or nobody is watching you, there are many people looking at you and looking up to you and actually seeing if you are going to be serious with that thing. Somehow help will come. So that has been, there's been many times I wanted to give up in my business. And I would just remember that time, and I would be like, there must have been a reason for that person to invest that money at that time. So now is not the time to just drop everything and run. Just face it, keep going. And that's the story. I think that's the most interesting one I can remember at this time.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing, and congratulations in advance on your 7 years anniversary. We know that it is not a joke. Very interesting. And one thing I picked from what you said is that you should not keep quiet about your business. Now, I want to reiterate everyone hearing us today, do not keep quiet about your business. Where help can come from to Ngbola for that very insightful, Mrs. Ario. Now, we know, like I mentioned earlier, just like any other business, we understand dealing with unexpected challenges. So I would like you to share your experience on some challenges that you have faced and how you overcame such.
Thank you very much. Well, I have gone through several phases in this business, right? Just like Mrs. Ogumbola had mentioned, I don't think there's any agribusiness person who hasn't thought about giving up and training the towel at some point, right? And that was my story in 2019. In 2019, I had just come off a Tara Drote, seminar, where she was talking about structure. I had thought that that was the right time to put in structure into my business. Structure, regarding putting people in roles and, having people do certain things, just basically administrate the business. That is not the core production. And I thought, you know what, this is high time. So this is me just coming off the seminar and saying, okay, I need to implement. Just shortly after, I fell very ill and I was unavoidably absent from my business for 4 months. Those 4 months were gruesome. So I had thought that I had done, well in putting things in place, doing the best I could do and all of the rest. And then this illness got me, constrained. I wasn't physically at work and all of the rest. The pointers to what I was going to come back home to meet, right, were already very defeating for me. Things were bad. We were owing suppliers. We were just everything that could go wrong. People were bickering. The staff that I had put in place were not doing what they were supposed to do, all sorts. So I came back to meet my business in shambles. And I took a decision to first put a halt to it. So that was the challenge. The challenge was, how do I get back up from here? Remember that it would have been easier if we were serving if we're doing like a B2C, B2B, if we're serving business. All we would have needed to do was to say, you know what, kindly give us this time off, won't be able to do this at this time and all those kind. But when you're serving retail, when you're serving the final consumer, it is how many people can you actually reach out to say, you know what, this is exactly what we're going through. So I put on my big girl's pants. And the first thing I did was to say, you know what, I came out to say, we are not in business anymore. We're going to hold business for as long as we need to. And I went off social media. At the point, social media played a very big and key role in how we transacted businesses. So that was where people would get information. That's where we were showing behind the scenes and all of the rest. And that was what I did. Taking that decision in the first place was quite challenging, because you know how you don't want to be vulnerable, too vulnerable. You don't want to show people that you were incapable. And that was exactly how I felt. But you know what? That became the turning point. I kind of knew at the point that if I could come back from that, there was nothing that could happen in this agric business, that would hold me down again. So imagine we're off for 4 months. All we're doing was production and selling at the farm. What that gave me the opportunity to do was to go back to basics, right? I applaud myself for being able to do that. So go back to basics and just try to sort things out, We started again slowly but surely. We didn't care about people saying, no, but this is not how you used to do before. This is not, for your farms. We went at our pace, right? And that has brought us to this very, very day. So that was quite a very challenging phase, emotionally, business-wise, physically, financially, right? And but it was also a turning moment. I think it made me see things from another perspective. And I'm happy that we're still standing. I hope that counts for something. Thank you.
Oh, actually, I think it counts a lot, because I'm sure a lot of people are already at that point where you were that time, and they're thinking about quitting. And that is to let you know that you should not quit, but you should try to make an opportunity out of whatever situation you find yourself. So thank you very much, Mrs. Ario, for sharing that. Coming to you, Mrs. Ogumbola. Now, are there any unique financial barriers that women agripreneurs face when seeking loans or investment capital for their ventures?
Oh God, I can see Mrs. Ario laughing, because this particular aspect of every agribusiness is always a challenge. It has always been a challenge. And frankly, I've had my own fair share of, this part, especially because being a woman, I think I don't, like I said, I mean, like Ms. Dario said, she can't invalidate some other people's stories. But from my experience doing business, that's always been a challenge being a woman. You get somewhere and they tell you, either they say, oh, I can't, we don't lend women money, or women don't know how to do so and so. Or you hear things like, oh, why are you the one in the forefront of doing this business? Where is your husband? I have been at a pitch sometimes, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and this investor had told me to go and bring my husband so that they can have a chat. And I was very thankful to the response that they got from my husband at that point. Like, she is the one running this business. She knows A to Z of this business. She's the only one that can give you the solution or the answer you are looking for. I can't. What I do is back office, but I would say in getting funding for your business, especially when it comes to bank loans, and one of the biggest challenges we have, or I have faced, would be the kind of collaterals banks or financial institutions ask or require before they release funding. Sometimes, I've taken a loan before where it became a problem for me and my business. Now, this loan is supposed to help us suppress the issues that we have or help us to solve problems, but instead, it kind of created more. An example would be during COVID or just before COVID, when we had tried to apply for a particular loan to buy some equipment that would help us to, with the kind of business I do, is converting raw materials from the farm into finished goods. You would require equipment. There's nothing that you can tell me to be able to meet up to demands, to be able to, seamless operations. We got the funding, but it came very late. And at that time, COVID had come. Everything had gone up. So imagine an equipment that we had quoted 1.6 million for coming in at 3.6 million, and the bank had only issued that amount, leaving us another debt of some extras. So it's the timing for loans, the timing, the process, the scrutiny process. I mean, if you see genuine people who are willing, who are doing business, that they really legitimately want to do this thing, the best thing anybody can get is a shoulder to lean on to say, you know what, we've got you as a bank or as a financial institution to say, oh, we understand your pain, but that's not the case. The collaterals that they're asking is either is something that we can't meet up to, or is something that, you're practically asking for the entire business, or the percentage interest you're charging every month. Imagine the financial institution charging maybe 5 to 6% per month. What are we going to? We are selling pepper, vegetables, crops, basically, and you're asking for 7-6% per month. You're taking practically everything that we're making, because for this value chain, you have to sell with almost the profit margin is very slim for you to be able to sell what you want to sell and reach the people that you want to get to. So the challenges that I would say we faced, or that we are still facing as women in agribusiness, I don't know of any other business, but I know of this industry. Access to finance is hard. When we eventually get there, the percentage that they would ask, not to say that, I mean, taking loans, I cannot completely rule out the importance of loan, because my business would have gotten nowhere near where it is today if I have not taken bank loans. I say this all the time. However, people need to be wise with the kind of, I've made terrible mistakes from, taking bank loans. The interest rate, you need to look at it, look at what your business is doing. Otherwise, it's going to kill the business. So yes, unrealistic collaterals, high interest rates, terms of payment too, is something to look at. If it's agribusiness, for goodness sake, looking at maybe like a 6 month, 3 months loan repayment, how soon do we turn over these things? this process is quite, if I go on and on, we won't live here. Well, like you get my message, three things basically. The collaterals are too unrealistic, in my opinion, sometimes. Secondly, the interest rates, many of these interest rates are just, they are killing, honestly. And then the timing, the loan repayment tenor. I like what, in the beginning of this webinar, someone had talked about the W Power loan or something. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think anybody would in this industry, because without funding this, and you're in this kind of business, it's God that will help the person, and faith and tenacity. That's it for me for now.
Thank you very much, Ma. Yes, Busola had mentioned the W Power loan, and you can actually access up to 10 million naira without collateral. So I think it's a very brilliant idea. I see Mrs. Ario nodding her head and nodding her head. Do you want to add something to what she just said?
Oh, you know what? I just had to, there's no lie, basically. There's really no lie. I understand that businesses need funds, but when it comes to agribusiness, it's on another level. And just like you mentioned about the timing, 6 months, that is what it takes for a day-old layers to turn around. I'm getting to lay. So basically, it almost seems like they're asking for the impossible. So if I get a loan and it's going to take me 6 months till the bet that I'm borrowing the money for would even go into lay, how much more break even? With all the unforeseen contingencies that can happen, I kind of think, look, I keep saying it, and I said it, any institution, including the government, that is not ready to have a conversation on how to move agric to the next level. So when we talk about government now, we're talking about, as a matter of fact, I am a big believer that government should actually even impose financial institutions on and regulate them when it comes to agric funding. It is a different ballgame entirely, just as agric is the heart of the country. Look, I was looking at the statistics yesterday. We import as at first half of 2022 was almost 1 trillion imports. That means the food that we are eating, almost 1 trillion, while we are exporting about just 300. Look at that deficit. It is crazy. So any institution and governments, whether PPP, whether institution by themselves or what have you, that wants to feed its people. Look at how people are. There's no other way. The importation is not sustainable because we keep changing dollar and all. The only way is to help local farmers. You cannot help local farmers by just making marks. If I want to grow bell peppers, it takes me 3 months before I even start to harvest at all. So if I'm going to start repaying the loan, that's BP now. You don't understand? That is basically BP. Do you understand? It's BP.
Oh, goodness.
Look, I understand that there are several other ways to leverage funds or have access to funds, but this kind of very officiated way is the best because I know how it can be very, very tricky. There's no, the country is hard. There's no other institution except governments and financial institutions that can actually help and give farmers the help that they need when it comes to funding. You can ask your mommy, you can ask your daddy, you can ask your brothers, but that's like bits and pieces. It doesn't make the numbers, it doesn't make the figures that can actually help people or businesses push to the next level. Things are hard, and agribusiness needs funding. They need funding that is relatable, that is practicable.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ma. I think that was beautifully said. Thank you so much. Let me say at this point that everyone can use the Q&A section to drop your questions, and we will take them at the end of the discussion. So please make sure that all the questions you have at the back of your minds, everything you want to ask our two speakers, you're putting them in the Q&A section so that we can take them at the end of the discussion. I'm coming back to you, Mrs. Ario. Now, in your journey as an entrepreneur, or as an agripreneur, as it is rightly called, what is one piece of advice you wish you could go back in time and give to your younger self?
Ooh, okay, so I'm still very young. Let me just put that forward. I needed to mention that, but I kind of feel that my personality gets in the way a lot. So I'm a very introverted person. I've always been so, and as we've now known business to be, you cannot. I admire Miss Wura, who is very, very vocal. I mean, I am more like a behind the scene kind of
Oh,
person.
it gets me in trouble a lot.
Feels- Sorry? Pardon?
I said that
Right?
gets me in trouble a lot with this
Yes,
business.
so I mean, so I'm opposite. I'm on the other side of the scale, and so I
Yeah.
kind of feel that. I mean, if I had been, I mean, I'm learning and growing. If I had been much more not outgoing, but if I was much more vocal, if I was much more out there, it would have, perhaps, maybe not. But I kind of feel that personality has a way of, having an impact on one's business. And when they say that your business is like the culture that you build is more like, I mean, it's from the personality of the owner. You understand? I mean, I keep nudging my people. Don't be like me. Like, you guys are supposed to compliment me and all of that. So I kind of feel that if I'd been much more introverted, perhaps I would have been able to, collaborate more and, go out more, meet people more and all of that. I mean, I run from distance. I mean, it took me a lot of hugging myself, internally to actually get myself to do this. And I'm enjoying it. So I kind of feel that maybe not. But yeah, if I was much more outgoing, because as a business owner, you need to be vocal. You need to be not extroverted, but when it comes to you need to carry it on your shoulder, carry it on your head, carry it on your person. You need to be able to meet people and have like an elevator pitch at the moment and not let your, personality get in the way. And I think it did for me. I wish I was, much more early on. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Like Mrs. Wura had said, don't keep quiet about your business. You need to be able to, and I love the fact that you have made reference to balance. So it is important as a business owner to create the balance between your personality and how you want your business to grow. So there's need for balance. And thank you very much, Mrs. Ario, for that insightful point that you just made. Now coming back to you, Mrs. Ogunbola, in the spirit of empowerment, can you share a personal mantra or piece of wisdom that keeps you motivated and resilient in your agribusiness endeavors?
Honestly, I would give this credit to those who work with me. Honestly, sometimes or oftentimes, just a couple of months back, it's quite difficult. At the moment, we are all facing shege in Nigeria. You will agree with me that we are all going through shege in Nigeria at the moment. And for us in this line, it's been a very challenging period, especially I feel it's more because I'm not physically present at the center of my business at this time, because doing my business remotely has taught me quite a lot in the space of 2 years. How I still manage to do it, I cannot completely comprehend, but I would say my team do a lot of motivating. Sometimes I tell them, you know what, guys, I think we are going to rest a bit. And you hear things like, where is this coming from? No, you can't do this. We have to be able to do this. You are doing this because of this. So I kind of feel like, because 85% of my staff strength, in fact, I'd say 90% of my staff strength are women. And that's coming from a place where I've known what it means to be, oh, she's just a woman. Oh, she doesn't have, I practically grew up in that space where, oh, she's a woman. Let's just, keep her someplace for now. Later, she will get her voice and things. And honestly, it's been one of the driving forces for me to empower women. I grew up on the farm with my grandparents for a better part of my life. So I really took interest in, I never knew I was going to be in this, in this field. I liked food. I like to cook. So I thought I was going to be cooking for a living eventually. But as God would have it, I found myself here. And the encouragement I get most of the time would be from my team and from my parents. I would not take that away. It's something that keeps me going. Also looking at my children, knowing fully well the reason why I started my business and where I'm going. Oftentimes, entrepreneurs, I would say entrepreneurs now, because this is a general statement. They feel like, or they think when I start up a business, and because social media is filled with so many success stories, you don't get to see the downsides of some other people's businesses, but because they show up every day, you say, this person is chilling now, I spend this money and things like that. But because I know the kind of business I'm building, And I look at people like Dangote, I look at people like Otedola, and I say, it wasn't, during my master's, I did a research on Otedola, and I sat down and I'm like, what? People would not see the backstory of that. So I know what I'm building. I want a business that I would be long gone. I tell my children sometimes, I'm not going to be around forever, but there's something that I'm going to leave. I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave something. So those things, coupled with the kind of people that I work with and the people I surround myself with, kind of motivate me to do more and empower others.
Great, that was beautifully said. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ogungbola. I'd like to put the same question to you, Mrs. Ario. Would like you to share a piece of wisdom that keeps you motivated and resilient in your agribusiness endeavors.
You know what, this particular question, thought hard and hard when she was speaking. And I'm thinking, you know what was actually motivating me? I really don't know. Okay, but I will say this, right? And I think it kind of shows in the kind of business that I run. You know, when people say jack of all trades, master of none, right? I find that very offensive. I don't believe in it. I believe that you need to diversify your portfolio. Now, diversifying your portfolio might mean so many things to different people. It might be growing so many different kinds of crops. You know, now there's a Yoruba adage that says on Waja. It is exactly where we are. You cannot jack of all trades except you hold a form of monopolistic power in your knowledge or access, or whatever it is to that. Almost diversify as much as you can. Take call back by, I'm speaking about when one does not enter, another one would enter. And that's been my mantra. I think it kind of shows. Tomorrow, I'm selling whatever now. Nobody should, I don't even think anybody will be surprised if they say potato farms do something else that, it is exactly that. Now, one thing that keeps me sane, so that's business aspects. Diversify your portfolio, whatever it means to you. If it means growing ewedu, efo, and ugu, don't grow ewedu alone. You understand what I'm saying? So it might be that you're growing or doing anything that is complementary to each other, right? But I don't believe in sticking to one thing. Diversify. Now, that's not about that. When it comes to anything that keeps me sane, I don't fuss over things I cannot control. That is how I stay mentally okay.
I'm sorry to cut you. Anybody listening to this, if you have ears, please listen to what you just said again. Anything you have no control over, don't force it.
I leave it. And the ones I can't control, I do whatever. If I'm not throwing away, I'm throwing away. If I'm handing to God, let me hand to God. If I'm handing to my staff, now this is even me personally. Do you understand? Or if I'm outsourcing, if I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing with that, is really not much of a target for me. I focus on the things I can control. Now, and that is because I understand and I've experienced firsthand how the things that you cannot control then, dissuades you or distract you completely from the things that if you had controlled them, knowing that you have the capacity, the time, the resources to control them, would have even helped you with the ones that you can't control. Now, whatever it is I've said might sound like a parable. However it is that anybody wants to translate it, I can translate it to so many things. But that is a personal mantra for me currently that is working for me. It is controlling the things, focusing on the things I can control, and letting go of the things that I cannot.
Thank you very much. I must say that this has got to be the most interactive and interesting webinar I've been on this year. And really, I'm loving the way you are dishing out the REMA. Thank you once again for that very interesting points that you just made. Whatever you cannot control, do not force it. Just make sure that you're making use of the opportunities that you have, but do not force things that are out of your control. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ario and Mrs. Ogungbola, for those very salient points. Let me say again that you are able to put your questions down in the comment section, in the Q&A section, and we're going to take them at the end of the session. Now, I'm coming back to you, Mrs. Ogungbola. In your experience, how can women effectively navigate and overcome gender-related challenges in the agribusiness sector? And I'm particularly fascinated because you had mentioned something like this before, where you had issues and somebody said, oh, go and call your husband, and also would like to learn and know how you actually treated that situation.
Okay, so in my experience, like Mrs. Aria said earlier, my personality is very strong. I'm very vocal about anything I'm passionate about. So I'm someone who I'm never offended by things like you tell me, oh no, I can't do it. That's fine. God has not equipped you to help me. That's what it means. I just keep going. So in my experience, I would say one of the things that, would help you in this industry is to overcome that gender nonsense, because it's upsetting and it's absurd. Sometimes it annoys me. I have wanted to pay for a factory facility back in 2020 or something when we outgrew our space. And someone said to me, why are you the one looking for house? I had to bring my husband to the facility to get the landlord's approval, because he had said we do not rent houses to women, regardless of whatever you want to use it for. The company had paid for the facility, and they went ahead and issued an invoice in my husband's name still. So in this regard, sometimes you need to stand your ground. Now, I would say it again. People do not completely like people who are vocal, especially those who are strong-willed. So if you are choosing to be firm, you have to be firm till you get to your destination, because you need it. You have to be tenacious. Then you have to want success bad enough. If you are not ready to succeed bad enough, you will get thrown aside. I'm not where I want to be yet with my businesses. I look at the vision I have. Sometimes I feel like my own is too much. But I could be walking. I was driving past Nestle one day and I was looking at their plant, and I said it. I didn't know I was thinking, and then I thought it out, and I said, one day this is going to be the dream. And the person I was using the car was like, okay, that's the spirit. So navigate this gender thing. It's your mindset. You have to be, your state of mind has to be sound first. Understand that you are a woman. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it, unless you want to go and change your gender. That's okay if that's what you want. But you have to first understand that before anything, you are a woman. There's a reason why you are in any kind of industry that you are in. So that should be your driving force. That should be it is the end goal that matters to me. So as a woman, if you tell me, oh, you can't have this because you are a woman, that is okay. That's your own idea. 2 months ago or 3 months ago, we had a client who brought a very big business to our company. We wanted to do business together, and we had a form of meeting. And the first thing, because again, I say the better part of my staff strength are women. I do this on purpose. I do this on purpose. We have to equip women as much as we can. It is very important. We have children, we're raising kids. These people are the people that are going to raise the children. Look at what the society is today. So I believe so much in women. And then we had this meeting, and this person said, oh, you mean you don't have any man on this team that we can talk to? We would like to speak to a man, please. I didn't take that deal. It was a lot of money. I like money, don't get me wrong. It's very evident in what I'm doing. But I will not be suppressed because I'm a woman. It is not my time to earn that money. If it is my time, any gender thing will not come in the way. So resilience, foresight, know where you're going. And know that, determination, know that no matter what, that's where my goal is. The rest is noise. Yoruba people say, Ariwoja. It's just noise. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm headed. It's fine if this person doesn't help me. I'm just one no closer to my dream. That's how I see it. And that's how I navigate or I overcome any gender-related issues. That's anybody's problem. If you want to, not mine. I'm a woman, and that's how I'm going to be. So that's just the way I deal with it.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that a lot of people, even though they cannot just unmute themselves to speak, a lot of people have gone through or are still going through this thing that you just mentioned. And I am certain that this at least will give them some sort of confidence to, say no when they need to say no, and just stand their ground and be sure that everybody takes them serious despite being a woman. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ogungbola, for that. I am coming back to you, Mrs. Ariyo. Now, Now, we've talked about challenges, but we want to focus now on celebrations for a bit. What is one achievement in your agribusiness journey that you are particularly really proud of? Would like to know.
Well, look, I'm not one on waiting for big achievements. I mean, I had thought that if I was being asked this, what's that one big thing? I don't wait for the big things. I kind of feel that the little things accumulate to bigger things or the big things. So I can't really pinpoint one big achievement, but I can pinpoint a number of small things, that has. And one of them was, remember I said I was out of my business for 4 months in 2019. So basically I came back and then it was COVID, right? Now, it feels like pouring kerosene on fire. So this is, when you step on somebody that's already on the ground, that is exactly what that situation should have been. But I guess it would have been that particular phase I got myself into, after the rain comes the sunshine, or there's light at the end of the tunnel, that kind of a thing. When COVID came, and that could have easily been the end of, of everything that we're doing. But what happened was, at the time, the government then came up with a policy. That was the time that they said there will be no to importation of chicken. It was for a very small period, though. Honestly, that regulation was for us, because that was exactly what gave us the motivation to come back. So once I heard that there was an embargo on importation of chicken, I swung to action. Like, okay, you know what? This is an opportunity. And I think that I'm also very proud of the team that I've put together. Honestly, I keep saying it. I cannot be strong every time. Sometimes I'm strong. I'm going to rely on you guys to lift me up. So, lean on me, don't be press me, die. I keep saying it. Don't die. I say you should lean on me. It doesn't now mean that you shouldn't, something like that. So they totally understand that. They know when they need to come through, for the common good of everybody. Everybody swung into action, and I am very, very proud that we're able to come out of that situation then. Another thing that I think I'm very, very proud of, not think that I'm sure, was when we decided to go into agro-processing. And it was because we're facing issues of harvest losses. When you harvest, there's this thing in the agric industry, or should I say in the value chain, where the farmer is constantly undermined. The farmer is constantly, pressed. They push it to the wall. Basically, everybody just thinks on the value chain that they're the ones that the margin belongs to. And it was from that problem that we came up with with the solution of agro-processing. I never thought about agro-processing. I wanted to just produce. But when I saw that I will produce it tomorrow, that's not where the money is. The money is somewhere else. If I'm not careful, I need to, try to rake in this margin and make sense of everything that we're growing. And that was where we went into agro-processing. So I'm just proud of the little decisions that we make that move us closer in achieving, that goal. Remember that the vision for Fortune Farms is that families are able to prepare bulk of their meals from just buying from us. So the fact that today is plantain, tomorrow is gari, next tomorrow is pepper, everything is making sense, little by little. So it's not the big achievement, it's the little things that we do that makes us step closer in achieving that vision, that mission that I'm particularly very, very, very proud of.
Wonderfully said. And we are very, very, very proud of you. It is important to see women who are, at the forefront of affairs like this, so that every other woman who is aspiring to be there can have people to look up to. So we are very, very proud of you as well. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ario, for that. Coming to you, Mrs. Ogunbola. Now, we know that diversity and inclusion are very important in every field. Now, how can we manage more women, or how can we encourage more women to pursue their careers in agribusiness? And what benefits do they bring to the industry?
First off, I think being a woman is being powerful. That's one thing.
I agree.
There is so much more that a woman can do than just being at home. I've never been the 9-to-5 kind of person. I've always been a trader. I've always loved being a trader. I enjoy doing businesses. I enjoy building businesses. It's something that I just love doing. Now, For women, one of the things that disturbs me the most would be when I hear stories like, I'm very happily married with 2 children. But I don't like when I hear stories about women, ending it all, or maybe they got divorced and somehow they don't have anything. There's beauty in spending your own money. There is so much joy and relief in doing something that adds value to another person's life. So for me, my driving force is not money. My driving force is impact. How many people can benefit from what I'm doing? That's why you will see me doing training. You will see me partnering with women to produce, to run, like they bring their raw materials, we process it for them in my facility. Little things like that count, just because as a woman, oftentimes they're undermined. Women are undermined so much, and they need to have something. We also want to support our husbands. We want to support our homes. We want to do something for the community. I want to be able to stand in front of people and tell them, oh, I am Nigerian and I did this for my country. Many people are in that situation, but they can't get out. So in my opinion, we won't stop talking about it. We won't stop bringing women closer to their dreams. Every way we can, every way. It doesn't even have to be only by saying, okay, come and start farming. My grandma was, that woman has to be the most tenacious person I have ever met in my entire life. She's still alive, and hopefully, I hope she's watching this. She would be, Gary, you will see us roasting Gary like this, locust beans, everything. Even though I used to run from all those things back then. Look at life. So honestly, taking the bull by the horn, making noise about it, let people get the, because some people are even timid. Some people are so scared to hold anything, to do anything, because of the fear of what would people say. I hate that thing. What would people say? Or somebody saying, hey, I can't do this because they said, who said? The power lies within you. Nobody can tell me anything. Nobody can make me do what I don't want to do. So first of all, we need to encourage. Empowerment is starting from organizing webinars like this, talk shows like this, visiting places, visiting schools. There are teachers who are I served in a secondary school in Osun State, Ile-Ife. And honestly, the amount of women in the community at that time, if we had something that we could go to these communities and speak to them, even if it is beans that you can be selling, or no need to be processing it, because you would now be looking at, oh, how much am I going to need to fund this business? Go to people that are doing this thing. Take it from one place. Look, research. There are so many women everywhere. It is for us to get that information to them. Honestly, I'm not going to stop doing that, because as a woman, again, I've said I've had my own fair share. I still have my fair share of, I beg, she's a woman, that kind of thing. It annoys me to my bone, and that's what drives me the most. Like, you cannot keep us, you cannot box us. We have to be able, we have to thrive. We should be able to have the same level, the same playing field that a man has. We're not saying I'm not here to fight equality or whatnot. It's not my concern. What my concern is empowering women, letting them all have something. How can somebody drive you out of this and you say, I don't have anything I'm doing? What is that? It gets me sick. It's sometimes, you want to reach out to people and say, what are you doing? So you've been in this condition for 6-7 years, and you haven't thought of selling a bra or attachments or biro. No, now. Wrong. We have to be able to get the message to them, whichever way. And this is not just handing people money. We need information. First, information. Then grooming them into, okay, you already have this idea. What do you want to do with it? That's one. I give it Access Bank. I haven't banked with Access Bank for too long, but what Access Bank is doing, I don't know. I doff my hats, because you guys are doing so much, and there's still so much to do, but there is, at least you started it, and as you grow, you continue to uncover new things, which is going to be beneficial for women. I hope that one day we'll get the playing field that we want. But until then.
Great. Thank you very much, Ma. I will really, really appreciate that. That was very spot on. Your only limitation as a woman is yourself. So if you decide to limit yourself, you may not be able to go far. But if you decide to spread your wings, you can just fly like eagles. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ogunbola, for that. Please, your questions on loans, I think you should try to send an email to wcares@accessbank.com so that you can get full details regarding your loans. So whatever questions you have regarding this webinar, please put on the Q&A section. But if you are willing to ask questions regarding loans and any other products, I'll direct you to send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Coming back to you, Mrs. Ario. Now, we understand that agriculture generally can be very unpredictable, like it's a very unpredictable sector. Can you recall a surprising twist or unexpected turn in your journey that that ended up being like a game changer for your business?
Well, I mean, I've made several scenarios, and I mean, I've brought back several experiences. Game changer, honestly, I mean, what can be the game changer in Nigeria? Let's even ask ourselves that. I mean, I don't know any big thing that's, I mean, has created an enabling environment for you to have like a big break. But one thing that I know that we did was, I mean, that I knew that we wanted to do early on was a form of backward integration. So basically, when we're going to go into farming, like I said, we started with table eggs alone. I mean, we could have stayed there because it was quite profitable at the moment. I mean, as a then, but we knew that we wanted a challenge. We wanted to, even though we knew it was very, very, very risky. So we kind of channeled a lot of, I mean, the profit that we had plowed in and reinvested in the business. Now, one major issue in agribusiness when it comes to poultry, you know, our core is poultry now, is the monopoly power that a few companies hold when it comes to supply of day-old chicks. Day-old chicks basically is very integral to my own business. So everybody can apply it to what is integral to their business. Because without day-old chicks, I mean, it's nothing I can breed or rear to become the chicken, I mean, that would slaughter and sell. And I am very, very proud that we took a decision to actually invest in the backward integration, which was having our own parent stock and hatchery, because that has solved a whole lot of problems for us. Now, this is a country that has a lot of insecurity. So it means that transporting things from A to B can even be a challenge. Do you understand? I mean, we actually go through it when we're transporting even live birds. So the birds that are already grown from point A to Lagos where we slaughter. I know the challenges that we go through. It's a whole lot. So the fact that we're able to take that decision to invest and have, I mean, be able to depend on our own selves, which is having a level of control, you understand, on the supply of day-old chicks, I think was a major achievement for me. Now, one decision that we took, you know, when you're in business, you can sort of want to think emotionally. There's the emotional thinking and there's the logical thinking, especially when you're a woman. You know, when you're a woman, women are naturally very emotional. So you can tend to sway towards that, which is what a lot of people, say. But when you're in business, you have to take it out from the passion and then focus on thinking logically. Now, this is us, who most of our egg sellers are women. All, about 90. So if it is not woman, it is that the man is just following his wife to the depot to come and pick up eggs. You understand? So most of our egg sellers are women. And we used to have a whole lot of, and this is where people need to really sit down and think. You can be stuck in doing things the way you're doing. If you do not change the ways that you do things, you might not yield the result that you intend for. And from the inception, remember we started with eggs. All our bulk buyers know that we bring eggs from the farm to Lagos. Every day. So I think we do every other day every other day. Now, they didn't care as to how long it took us, whether our vehicle will break down, whether whatever will happen, they didn't really care about that. But has anybody seen that Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, which is the road that we fly every day? God, the roads are bad, which is another agric-business issue entirely. Let's not even go into logistics for now, right? So the trucks will break down every day. we will get into this road, this bad road. Our eggs, so if we're transporting 1,000 crates of eggs, for example, we can lose about 200. How do we transfer that? What do we do? So the worst that will happen is that this woman will pray for us and say, Kiniko, you understand? So one day, they had never seen me like that. You remember I said I'm introverted. Well, one by me, so I basically just came. You know, and I said to them, so normally when those kind of things happen, they will come and say, Emma, they will grease me. So I'll laugh and say, okay, I'll throw it to God. But this day, I had enough of emotional thinking. This is me saying to them. So I said to them, I said, you know what? If you want to see this business go, so I'm particularly proud that we actually took that decision. This was, I think, before COVID, about 2018. Okay, look, if a lot of you, if you don't buy eggs from Fort Worth, even you will not eat. Do you understand? So let us come together. I'm not taking this decision because it favors me. Remember that when the eggs come to Lagos, it means that I have control over how I want to sell my eggs. You know how staffs can be sometimes, because if they sell at the farm, that's when you'll be in price by law fairer. You know, this is the price that they want to buy it and all of that. So I enjoyed that I had the control. So the fact that I was able to even remove myself from the business to say, you know what is the best for this business at this time? And everybody is fine. Even now, so no 200 crates breaking every day, none of that. So now what I did for them was, if you go to the farm, that was an incentive. If you go to the farm, I remove maybe 15 naira or whatever. And that has even brought along even more business for them. So the person that has a car will pull together. So the person that was using a luxury car or whatever car that cannot be used for business per se, some of them have sold the car, bought trucks that can help them transport. So they pull together so that they're able to spread the risk and spread the, all of that has come out from that. So even if it's a business that keeps giving, I'm very, very happy, that the way that I took that decision, because it has now birthed a lot of, even me, I see myself differently now to say, you know what, okay, I can do this. Oh, okay, I can think, and all of that. And so those two decisions or situations that we found ourselves in, I think was a major push in building a sustainable business for us.
Great. Thank you very much, Ma. That was spot on. Thanks a lot. As Busola rightly mentioned at the beginning of the session, Access Bank is creating a range of offerings for women in the agribusiness sector. So there is a WhatsApp link that is being posted in the comment section for every woman in the agribusiness sector. So you need to join this WhatsApp link so that you can be able to get first-hand information as regards the offerings that Access Bank has put together for women in the agribusiness sector. Thank you again, Mrs. Ariyo, for that insightful comments. I'm coming back to you, Mrs. Ogumbola. Now, technology is transforming agriculture. So we want to know, are there any specific digital tools or apps that have made a significant difference in your agribusiness operation, just so that women who are listening can also harness these opportunities?
Yes. In fact, if I say no, it would be a very big lie. Remember, I said that I have been not physically present for some time, and then having my business run in my absence is something that gladdens my heart. And I wouldn't have been able to do this if I did not use any form of technology, or if I did not put in some processes or whatever it is in place for me to be able to function like that. It has come with its own downsides, but the advantages are something that it outweighs the challenges that surrounds it. So yes, accounting tools, accounting softwares, a good example would be for people who are just starting, maybe WB's Manager. It helps a lot. Your inventory, your sales, your customers, it tracks everything from start to finish. Now, the only downside to that is, as a manufacturer, there are some things that the system cannot completely capture. And that's where you need, human, what's that word? Human intervention, because at the same time, you cannot completely rely on technology because some of these things fail. I also use as small as CCTVs sound. I use them. I use them a lot. I have it on my phone, on my every single device, and it has also helped. It helps to keep people in line. The equipments that we use as well in processing, they are very, very I'm happy that I was able to, you know, invest in equipment and machineries to help me, number one, reduce overhead, because as an agripreneur, you would be tempted to want to employ so many, like take on so many unnecessary bills. That does not mean that you are completely cutting out employment. In fact, you need people to be able to watch, like there's how do I explain this now? Equipment will do its job, but people also have their own roles. The only reasons why we are putting in these equipment is so that, because when we started IYL Foods, it's been a journey. We were picking rice by hand, picking each grain. I'm very finicky with the quality of products that goes out. I don't, because I want to be able to brag with my chest. You are buying my product. I want to be able to tell you that this thing. So if you are calling me to tell me that something is wrong with my product, you probably bought something else. So I will sit down and be picking one after the other. But then equipment, and along the line, I found out that some staff, you will tell them, label A. We got to the factory facility one day. I'm going to use this as an example. Now, this is a product, right? And this is the sticker. This is how a normal human being is supposed to place sticker. And then you get to the factory and somehow you just do a random check and you see a product like this. Why? What for? And you hear somebody saying, oh, why, if we do it the way MD wants us to do it, what time are we going to leave here? Now, this person has said this from a place of stress. I don't believe that somebody would intentionally want to do something bad to any business. You are either tired or stressed or you're suffering from something for you to be able to do something off what you are supposed to do. Now, technology has helped us to get a labeling machine. Just put it there. Let the equipment do its job. Bring it out. You, as a person, do the quality check and see what is there. So as small as those little technology, the smallest thing counts. Whether it is back office like accounts, customer service, all of those tech tools that we use. I'm not the very techie person. I'm sorry. I'm more of a salesperson. I'm more of the talk about the business side than that. But we use those things to be able to automate so many. How many things can we do truly by ourselves? We're humans. We make mistakes. So to correct those mistakes, to help you have that seamless, you don't want. In fact, there's some things we can get away with in Nigeria. If it crosses the border and comes to another country, you'll be dancing to a different kind of song, because you will not only come and collect your products, but it's a mess if you don't do the right thing. So technology has helped my business to do quite a lot of things. Now, it's not, we don't have those large numbers yet, but like I said, success is relative. You see those little things. And people, when you find people doing the right thing, the good thing, the way they're supposed to, you find out that they are very, like, they're following, or people that believe in these things are quite minute to people that, oh, I like volume. No, it's value first for me. And what will bring that value is automation, technology, the people, expertise, skill. That's the way I find it. And that's what I think that people should also look at when they are trying to set up or trying to evolve in this line of business.
Thank you very much, Ma. And I really love the fact that you emphasized on quality and value first. And that's what a lot of us really need to understand, the importance of creating value for your customers. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ogunbola. I'm coming back to you, Mrs. Ario. I just wanted you to give a piece of advice to attendees who actually have like a 9-to-5 job, but they are planning on maybe planting a garden at the backyards of their houses to, you know, grow their meals, maybe vegetables and pepper on a small scale. Maybe just a little piece of advice for them.
Okay, well, I imagine, look, so the agri business is, you cannot take away physicality from agri business, except even if you are working on in the extended value chain, it's quite difficult. you know, we do a lot of production. And honestly, even when I'm not even able to go to the farm as often as possible, you know, I feel it. Like I feel very, very, very constrained. Now, working a 9 to 5, I kind of feel that a 9 to 5er can join the agri business in the value chain. So, for example, now, you know, I mentioned, and I spoke about being a jack of all trades and master of none. It is out of necessity as a Nigerian business owner, or an intending business owner, that you have to start thinking like that, where, okay, I shouldn't do one thing, so that when one thing doesn't do it, another thing will do it. In developed countries, entrepreneurs don't think like that. You do your own and leave the rest to somebody else to do. That is exactly how the mind works. You understand? And it's because you know that even in doing your own, your benefits would come to you. You are assured that you're going to get whatever it is, you know, that you're supposed to, because it is food. It is food. Do you understand? It is a well-regulated industry. The government doesn't play with it. If the farmer is not making money, the government will give the farmer money. Do you understand? They have a way of monitoring and saying that everybody is okay, even when you take up any specialized process in the agri value chain. Now, what I want to say is this. I personally, and Focus Farms as a business, if we had somebody or an individual or a business that could take some part of what we're doing. So for example, I don't pride myself as being a good marketer. I pride myself as being a good strategist. If you want me to think outside of the box and how to turn this into this, I pride myself in that. But look at me. I'm taking from that time, from that expertise, from that strength that I have. I'm now looking for ways to market. You see me marketing costs today, marketing costs tomorrow, because I feel that it is something that I need to, but I really do not. So as a 9 to 5er, whatever it is that you have as a talent can still add value in this agri space. Now I'm speaking as if we have attendees that are looking for how they can key in the agri value chain. You don't have to own a farm. Let me quickly say that. Yes, you can own a home garden and plant a widow and shoko and all of the rest. That don't take you or take much of your time. But if it is marketing, like now I'm looking for a marketer. I'm just saying, I'm looking for a marketer, someone that can take that stress off. You understand? If it is marketing, you can do it. There's some people that they call aggregators. Aggregators are people that connect markets to buyers, whether businesses, whether consumers. You understand? You can sit down in your office here. You know this farm. Send us an email and say, okay, what do you have that I can sell? I have this network that I can leverage. Do you understand what I'm saying? So basically, people can actually sit in their office and do that. Something else that I see that business, I really do not know how institution or office work, office people work now. But when I was working in the public service, we had cooperatives, so people can actually man cooperative, even as a 9 to 5, where whether it is in the office that you work or whether you have a friend that is working in another office that can leverage, that network that you have. I have a very good customer that every December, what she does is she buys chicken from us and sorts out our staff, our colleagues, when it comes to chicken purchase. So our colleagues know that by December now, they don't have any stress. They will meet with Mrs. So and so. She's going to sort out chicken sales for them. You understand? And I'm happy to do that. I sell to you, you sell to, so it saves us the stress. Whether we like it or not, that is another market entirely for us. So as 9 to 5ers, you can actually add value in the agri value chain, and you can actually even make something out of it, when you key in the extended value chain. I hope I've been able to answer that question.
I'd like to add something to what she just said.
Please go ahead,
I'd like to add something because at a point I worked in the financial space where I also had IYL Foods nursing at that time. Of course, like I said, funding was a big issue for me when I started, so I had to take up another job to be able to buffer what I was doing. And in that space, working in banking is you can do other things as well. What about people that are in that? What about people that are in that place in your organization? I had someone that was selling wigs, or someone that was bringing in Gary for someone. There are many things. I also sold to my colleagues. To be honest, I was selling of other rice to my colleagues at that time. So you can key into. There's nothing that you can't do. Impossible is nothing. So yes, as a 9 to 5er, you can join the value chain. You don't have to go and buy machine or buy equipment, because those big equipments, they also come with their own issues of when maintenance hits you like this. we understand. So yes, that's just my addition to what she said.
So, we're talking about things that you can do right on your table, on your computer, on your phone, even on your way home, and all this kind of stuff. So keying into your
marketing and things like that.
Key into your strengths, key into your network, connect people to people. I kind of feel that people that work in the private companies, they're the ones that actually have even access to people. We work on the field. Like my friends are market women. They are the, the canteen.
Yes.
So, I can key into that space, connect people with people, and you'll be a big problem solver.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm totally blown away with all this insight that you are dropping. Yeah, thank you very much. Lastly, I'd like to just say to everyone that if you still have questions, you can put them in the Q&A section, because we're going to take the last rounds of questions now, and then we go to the questions from the audience. I'd just like us to, I'd like our two speakers to speak to any exciting future projects or expansions that you would like to, just tease or share with the audience. And we're going to round up the session. Thank you. So I'd let Mrs. Ogungbola go first.
Okay. Well, for us, like I mentioned earlier when we started, we're going to be having like an anniversary sale or some things for IYL Foods that is going to be up on our pages and things like that. And personally, I also coach women in agribusiness that are looking to go into food processing. You want to set up from, I'm not a farmer. I partner with farmers as well, because there's no food processing without crops, without agri-produce. So we are just, there's primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors of the food space. So we are just probably in the secondary sector of the food space, because we are turning that farm produce into, you want to turn that farm produce into finished good. That's where I come in. Again, I am not a farmer. I enjoy farming from afar. I give it to those who are doing the job. Mrs. Ari, you are doing well. That is not my area of strength whatsoever. Like, I used to run away from it as a child, but I enjoy food. I love food. I like everything that has to do with, especially because I'm very health focused. I studied biochemistry as my first degree. So I really, and because with IYL Foods, we constantly try to develop things that could help diabetic patients, hypertensive patients. And for me, it's bliss and it's joy, because losing multiple people to diabetes is not beans. And truthfully, it's just, these are the things that you should just look forward to. New things from IYL Foods, new expansions into different new regions. We're able to set our footprints in 2 African countries over the last 9 to 10 months. We are not fully operational in those countries yet. We are getting there, and we'll be getting it to the world soon. But in the meantime, we're growing slowly, but surely. We'll get there.
Great.
Yes.
Thanks. Well done. We're looking forward to the very many beautiful things that IYL Foods will be dishing out. And we're very much looking forward to the anniversary sales, so that we can all. Yes, thank you very much. Mrs. Zario, please go ahead.
Thank you. I had said at the beginning that what my husband actually particularly wanted to do in the beginning, at the commencement of Fortune Farms, was actually to have a zoo. And thankfully, finally, we recently got our approval from the Ministry of Wildlife and Forestry. So in the nearest future, we're going big into agritourism. So it means that we can have people come to the farm, they see the livestock, and then there's the wildlife part as well. So we're looking to, going fully into that. Something else that might interest a lot of these participants here is we're looking to properly structure trainings for agric enthusiasts and people that are students, school leavers, graduates that are looking to venture into the agric industry, a form of training, handheld on-site experience training. Look, I'm trying to increase, or should I say, I'm trying to find the capacity to do it, right? My hands are filled up, but I kind of think that it is really, really high time, right? So the trainees here and people should look, forward to that. I can't put a time frame to it exactly when it's going to start, but it's pretty, really, really soon. Now, one thing that is in our nearest future is, look, I own a farm and they don't teach agric in my children's school. I've had a headache over this. And I honestly really, really fault the Nigerian government, the government of a consuming country that does not teach agric in schools. Ejo, so when exactly would we be sufficient? You don't understand. This is the time. So these students are looking into robotics, they're looking into financial tech. No child is talking about agric.
The food that we're eating, are we going to continue importing?
Someone is talking about agric. So I'm really, really, really keen on that. I'm looking to partnering with primary schools, secondary schools. In fact, we have about 2 schools on board. Now, this has been a long time coming because we've had schools reach out to us. So we're going to the grassroots. I'm looking to partner with them to take up agric syllabuses for secondary schools, I think, for a start, and teach them practical and, more practical and then theoretical agric studies as a pre-vocational study for schools. The last thing that I would like to talk about is we are looking to partner with, I don't want to say with institutions as a form of contract farming where we actually grow things specifically for people. I mean, IYL foods, this might actually interest you. So
yes, I'm sure
it is a headache for me when I'm driving to the farm and I see people bring vegetables from Mondo State. I'm like, it's not farm, like we are here,
yes.
So we're trying to key into that because I look at fuel now, prices of fuel has gone up. So it means that if a trader is in Agege now, and they're bringing vegetables for her from Mondo. Look at the cost of that, so the cost of logistics. So we're trying to actually say that let Ondo farmers sell to Ondo farmers sell to Ondo people, Ondo traders, you understand? So we're trying to take over the Lagos and Ogun State markets, where institutions, companies, even hotels can reach out to us, say, can you grow 2 tons, 5 tons of weedu for us in a month, and then they mobilize us and we do that. So we're trying to expand and really, really structure our contract farming, should I say, units of the business.
We are very, very open to that.
Yeah,
so very open to that.
But so that's the I mean, the one of training agric enthusiasts would be a way of giving back, honestly. I kind of feel that there's a wide knowledge gap when it comes to what people or graduates, should have when it comes to agric. I mean, we have learned on the experience. I mean, we've made several mistakes, even, employed a lot of misfits. I mean, the fact that people are agric science graduate does not mean that they will add value to you. You're not promised. So we want to bridge that gap. And it's going to be a form of giving back where people that want to, go into agric businesses or even, look, at the end of the day, you don't even have to own a business to even be in the agric. It might even be as a form of, look, I haven't thought it through, you can tell, but it is something that we really, really want to do. And it's going to come in the nearest future where we train people, we add value, agric enthusiasts, graduates, train them, and that'll be our way of giving back. So
wow, I must confess that I salute you both on this amazing things you are doing. It's interesting to hear women doing stuff like this, and congratulations on getting your approval. I know that that's a huge step. And yes, it's a huge step. Yes. So we say, from all of us at Access Bank, we say congratulations on your approval and well done on the beautiful things that you are doing. I mean, that brings us to the end of the session today, and I know that everyone that has been on this call today has gotten more than one. I mean, a lot of things from everything you have said today. And I'm sure that a lot of people have put down notes. They're thinking of how to, go back to their businesses and re-strategize, restructure, and a whole lot of things. And we are very grateful to you for your time. We have a few questions that we're going to be asking shortly. And I'll read out the questions and then, read out the person that it is directed to as well. The first question is to you, Mrs. Aria. This person says, what would be your advice for a newbie who's interested in chicken farming and doesn't have capital?
Oh, wow. Okay. Look, let's be honest. Nothing really can move without capital. I mean, ideas die without funding. So ideas that does not have any form of backing or funding is basically that. But then let's assume that this person doesn't have funding. Look at the form of training that I've mentioned. You can still equip yourself by looking for this kind of resources. people volunteer. I've had people volunteer at my farm, and they've gone, out with a well of knowledge and experience that money cannot buy. So if you don't have the funding, you can key in into this kind of trainings or volunteer. Nothing is lost. Let me just tell you, I personally, we've made several mistakes that if we had the knowledge, or if we employ people that had gone for training and had access to all this kind of stuff, we may not have made those kind of mistakes. So if you don't have the funding, keying into knowledge. Knowledge is capital, is something that nobody can take from you. Why you look for funding. Also, before you start to look for funding in the big places, you can, family members. Those are my first to go. Those are my first go-tos. My husband, they're like, those are my founders, my parents, my in-laws.
People that actually don't have, people that really don't have that buffer.
I really don't have. So if you don't have, honestly, continue to, should I say, equip yourself with knowledge. I've already said maybe intern on some farms. Some farms would, on agri-businesses would have, like to, even if it is a stipend, they're able to pay you. It is still something. You're basically building your knowledge and trying to close up your knowledge gap. I think that's all I can say for now. I don't know.
Thank you very much. I really like what you just said, to build capacity. It is often said that success is when opportunities meet preparedness. So, even if you don't have the capital yet, you're able to start learning things just so that when the opportunity comes, you have the requisite knowledge and you can just key into it. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ario. The next question is to you, Mrs. Ogumbola. It says, which area of agriculture would you say is not being explored much in Nigeria and is highly lucrative?
I'll say farming. I would continue because there's so much we can grow. One of the challenges that we face in my line of business would be some access to some raw materials because they're not readily available. Some of them you have to import. And because I'm a very big advocate of made in Nigeria, we hardly import anything. So it is slightly difficult sometimes for us to get some raw materials that we need. Again, I like to say when I finish something, I will tell you that this thing was made in Nigeria. It's as if they use Nigeria to swear for me. But that's just so that aspect of agribusiness is farming. But I cannot completely fault them as well because farmers need support. Without support, we don't have the quality of food that we want. And we cannot access that quality in food processing. We cannot convert what we don't have. A typical example would be rice. There was a time where we had this rain and it was so bad that our rice farmers kept complaining we didn't have enough rice from the farm. Now, backstory, irrigation system was a big issue. These people are not ready to go into it because they don't have the funding or capacity to even do it. They have the land, they have the crops, they have the resources to do it, but they can't do it because where is the money or where is the machine that they want to use? So that's aspect. You see that we cannot get anywhere if our farmers are not properly compensated and not properly supported. We will not get anywhere. So that aspect, if anybody is looking to maybe, you are still trying, I'm guessing this person asked this question from the point of, I want to start I want to venture into the food space and I don't know where to go into. So where is that place that is untapped? That's where I'm guessing that's where this person is asking this question from. So that aspect, if you are able to find a gap that you can close and key into that aspect, that farming, by all means, that's farming. No, the government, we have a lot to do. In other countries, like Mrs. Ario has said, it's the way the government backs them, the way financial institutions back people, especially in the food space, is priceless. It's something I look at it and I'm impressed. And it's something that I really wish that our government, our people can help us. There's so much we can do in Nigeria. There's so much soil. So that's where we are lacking. We want to be exporting big. we need
Thank
to.
you very much, Ma. Okay, so the next question is to you, Mrs. Ario. This person says, please, Ma, how do I sustain my poultry farm without having much losses? I think this person, she says since she started, she has recorded a lot of losses in her farm, and she's not sure what the cause is, maybe because of space or because of hygiene. So she wants to find out how she can sustain the poultry farm without having much losses.
All right, let me quickly, I would speak from experience. We ran into problems about 2 months ago, and we needed to take a very drastic decision. Now, this is where emotion and logic comes in. Like I said, we took a decision to sell. So we had two options, either to sell our birds that are just gotten into lay. Remember, so basically, let me quickly explain. Getting into lay means that she would understand, whoever it is that asks the question, it means that you fed these birds for 25 weeks without them giving you nothing. Then they finally start to lay the eggs, then they run into problems. So this is where the farmer would have been waiting for, that's the moment that the farmer would have been waiting for, to reap part of what they've invested in the bird, and they run into problem. Now, what we did was we sold. There's no point carrying problems forward. There's some problems that they keep giving you. If that keeps giving, rather, if you keep pushing the problems forward, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. We took a decision to sell. The other option would be to restart the beds. Restarting means that you leave them to molt. So you stop whatever it is that you're giving them. So you have different feeds for beds that are laying, beds that are growing. We restarted them on the growing what's it called now? Mash. So basically, like as if you are taking them back to ground zero. And let me quickly say this: the beds that we did that with, they are now giving us about 75%. So sometimes you have a very big decision to make. It is to sell or to restart, and that is what I would say if I was in there, which is what we did in the issue that we found ourselves in 2 months ago.
Great. I want to believe that person has gotten an insight on what can be done to, prevent the losses.
There's no point making continuous losses. Sell and go back to the drawing board, or if you have the opportunity to restart the beds, let them molt. In this case, laying beds, let them molt and then restart them again. So basically, you are taking them back to basics and restarting them again.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Mrs. Aria, this is still to you. As a beginner or a novice who is looking for ways to come in, what are the first 3 things to do?
Look, I made big mistakes from not researching properly. Look, I like to, now, somebody else's experience is different from mine, basically, and I don't like to say things that I haven't, experienced.
Yeah.
I'm big on research now. You cannot bring anything to my table. The kind of questions I'll ask, and it is based off my own mistakes. You don't have to make mistakes. The fact that you don't have the funding, the fact that you don't have the resources, the fact that you're not ready to go does not mean that you cannot do things that moves you closer to starting that business. Research. Now, research, unfortunately, Google does not work for us in this part of the world. Let me quickly say this. Whatever it is that you find on Google would almost be different from what you will meet in real life. So do Google, but come to sites. You can intern, you can volunteer. Look, volunteering and interning, I'm very big on it because it is no waste of time. I've gone to farms to volunteer, to just even see what they're doing, even if it's for a day. I pay. Do you understand what I'm saying? So research, planning and researching. Research over and over and over and over again. Find a niche. I've spoken about being jack of all trade and master of none kind of thing, but it only works for people that have already done their homework. Let me quickly say this. Do your homework, research, plan properly, then find that niche that you're comfortable. Don't do anything. Let me quickly say, success is different for different kind of people. Right now, if you ask me what success means to Pocket Farm, it is just to finish this year strong. I'm not even bothered about next year. I don't care, what is happening next year? I don't even know now. It is to finish this year, right? And we are still standing. If by the end of this year, we meet whatever short-term goals that we set, I'm going to church to thank God differently. So basically, research, plan, and then find a niche that you're comfortable with. Now, you can still diversify within that niche. It doesn't mean that you are sticking to one thing, but find a niche that you're comfortable with, not something that somebody else has told you that is profitable or that somebody else is doing well. They are comfortable with. I think with that, the sky is your limit.
Thank you very much, Ma. Research and find a niche that is comfortable for you so that you are doing you when you're doing your business. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ario. My next question is to you, Mrs. Ogungbola. This person says, processing equipments are really expensive. How can we navigate this?
Okay, I'm glad this person has asked this question because from people who I have related to or had a conversation with or consulted for in the past, oftentimes they think that they cannot start without having all of these things in place. There are people who have these things and are willing to let you use them. A good example would be IYL. I say this thing almost every time. There are currently some people that I'm training in this industry, my line of industry, and I gave them a leverage to use my factory facility for up to 6 months. I'm willing to do that, because it will take a while for you to find your feet. Before I bought all these things, and if you're not careful, because you want to, set up fast, which is one of the mistakes that I also made. You go on and start buying equipment because you think that this is what you need. You don't know until you get to the practical. I bought some equipment in 2019. I started using them 2 months ago. 2019, who sent me? But then I'm glad that, this thing, again, your people will say, if you want in sometimes, but I cry, because maintenance, depreciation costs, you have to calculate all of these things. So before you go on and start buying equipment, yes, they are very expensive. NAFDAC requirements will also limit you from, getting what you want to get to an extent. Look for people that have. There are micro businesses, micro agribusinesses that offer opportunities like this. IYF is not the only one who does it. If you cannot approach us, there are people like T Crown Food. They do this thing. Approach them, speak to them. You want to produce this thing. If you want to bring your raw materials, the way we work at IYF Foods, sometimes some people have their raw materials. The only constraint they don't have the equipment or facility to put it together and make it one. We've provided that avenue. Bring in your raw materials. We'll give you the terms and conditions, because there are downsides to these things. You bring in whole raw material, maybe 50 kg. You're expecting to get 50 kg worth of finished goods. Possible. Some things would plus minus 0 year plus 2 year is equal to 1. That's how we work. But the people who you bring in your raw materials, we process it for you. You come back, carry your finished products and go. Other people, we source their raw materials, we process it for them, we give them the timeline. You come up. So you don't need that way. We too, because manufacturing, you don't get to manufacture or process every day. You don't do it every day. We can produce in our factory, we have the capacity. We can produce for up to a year and we don't need to do production again. In that case, we have space, we have time. Even if it means you pay a bit to do it, is it not worth it than going to go and start buying? You buy packing machine, 3 million. You buy grinder, 1.something million. You kilo day. Why do you want to kill yourself before you even start? Start small. Start with people that have the resources. Approach them. Pay them if you have to. And start selling. The most important thing is not just to process that product, because you cannot produce and leave it. My father would always say, there was a time in my business where I used to complain there was no sales. And my father looked me in the eye one day, because this dream originally started from my father. He just said it. There's someone that used to sell muke I'm from Elisha, in our village there. Muke and what's it called? We used to go every time. That woman, you will find her there. I don't know if she's still there now, because I haven't been there in years. But then my father said something. Anything that mouth eats, it can never tarnish. So what is that thing you do to leverage? You cannot produce something and keep it and be looking at it and say, I'm not selling. You will carry it on your head and hawk it, even if it means walking on the street with it. So I took a cue from that. Producing and leaving it down. Why? Am I going to eat it? Focus on selling. If you have your target market, if you create a product that has the right target market, devise a means to reach that target market and that audience before you even think about how you will produce it. There are many opportunities. Go then, after taking this one, go to the people that are capable of doing this thing. Please, I have this product. Do this thing for me. Put my label on it. I'll come and carry it. And go and sell it to your people. 3 months, 6 months, you've turned over the money. You can then afford to start buying some of the some of the equipment that you want to buy. Maybe not all, but some. And start from your kitchen. I started from my kitchen. Before that first 100,000 naira came, I started with 4,000 naira. Customers' money. But if nobody saw me doing what I was doing, if they did not see that I was doing the work, nobody will give me any 100,000 in the mud. So whatever it takes, approach people that have the capacity to do it. Don't be confused with the likes of very big industries that you're looking at it as, this chain, so this thing, this person is, as the machine is packing, is moving to, don't give yourself BP. Go to people that are already doing this thing. Approach them. The worst you can get is a no. And that no is not going to end your life. You will move on to the next person. Take it as cream. Use it to rub your body and move on. Please don't go and be buying equipment that you are going to end up. It's not good.
Just to buttress what Mrs. Ongola just mentioned. There's a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of expenditure, capital expenditure involved, around having machines. It's crazy. You don't see it coming. And remember that these machines, most of the time, are not even made in Nigeria. So you bother with having to find the spare parts, having to find the expertise to help you maintain, to help you repair. If you can find people where you can use their machines, for example, when we decided to bring or build the processing plant, the chicken processing plant in Lagos, it was because we wanted to be closer to the markets. And we kind of felt that a lot of people were going through the same issues that we're going through, having to find places. So if you process your chicken in Ogun State, you have to find a cold van to transport it to Lagos. So we wanted to solve that problem. And yes, we open our processing plants, the spare capacity to farmers who want to process and sell and get closer to the market like Mautu and all of the rest. So yes, just like you said, research, find companies, find businesses that have spare capacities and are willing to let go of their spare capacity for a token. If the price is not right for you, trying to find other people that you're experiencing the same issue with, collaborate, like combine, so that you can spread the cost of, leasing or renting that time slot for your, whatever it is. And when I started agro-processing, I started with dried chili. It was my fresh chili that was spoiling, and I didn't like. I used to dry them outside. I put them in sack. We focus on dry season, and when this one is the dry season, and that's what we did for over a year before I even started looking into buying machines to dehydrate and all of that. So start where you are.
Great. Thank you very much. I must confess that I love the passion I'm getting from both of you. It's actually showing in what you're saying, how you're saying it. And I'm sure that every other person on the call too can feel it. Thank you very much. Ma'am, I'm coming back to you, Mrs. Ogunbola. This person is asking to know about a few tech tools that startups can use.
Tech tools that startup can use. I mentioned WBiz. I use WBiz Manager a lot. Again, it doesn't cover extensively what I need, but it does what I want it to do at this time. So I would advise to go and I don't think it's a software that is available to download, and it's paid for. You just put it on Google, WBiz Manager. There are many other ones that people use. I would find out and if I can send it as an email or something of more tech tools that people use. Like I said before, I'm not in the tech. I've separated myself from some aspects of the business before I have blood pressure issues. I can't die.
Oh, great.
Yes. So
Thank you very much, Mom.
Very, very good, especially when you're dealing with inventory. The reason why I started using it is in this industry, I think food processing is one of the easiest businesses to steal from. I was recording losses it was too much at a point. So I had to bring in that system. At the same time, I had people. So you have people, you still have to double check with system, because system is, if you give system A, system will give you back what you have given it. But if you give somebody A, the person can give you B. So you need to be able to balance it to an extent, which is what I do. I use people, and I also use tech tools to be able to balance whatever I have so that I don't run at a loss.
Great. Thank you very much, ma'am. Before we go to the last question for both of you, these people want you to drop your social media handles so that they can follow you and they can ask any other questions they have in mind. So I'll just give you 1 minute to just give us your social media handles so they can follow. So, Mrs. Ogungbala, can you go first? Oh, okay, so she just dropped it at IYL Foods. Mrs. Ariyo, please.
Yeah, so at Forward Farms.
At Forward Farms.
Yes.
Okay, so you can follow our two speakers at IYL Foods and at Fort Worth Farms. Thank you very much. The last question is actually directed to both of you. And this person wants you to share some of your marketing strategies, how you gain your market strength and how you are able to keep your major customers. I'll let Mrs. Ariyo go first, please.
I had mentioned before that marketing is not my strength, right? So let me just put that forward. But we leverage a lot on Instagram, on social media. It really, really helped. Social media has been a game changer for us. In fact, that's where we started from. But lately, we've been doing more, things more traditionally. I have jingles on radios. I have 2 radio stations just in Agribusiness that we use to attract the local customers. So that is the traders, the people that go on the downfall in the morning. That is the kind of airplay where the jingles are played. Another thing that we do now is we formal letters. Basically, we introduce ourselves to companies. So we write letters, introducing products and services to companies that we think are market targets. And let me quickly say this: when we first started, we used to put our stuff in a bus. Then we'll go to park on the street. So this is social media and then traditional. Yes. So we'll put our stuff in a bus. On social media, we'll say, we'll be on this street on this day for, during this period of time. Come and check us out there. We used to do that a lot then. So I don't think that there's a limit to how you can market your stuff. Something else that we do again is we actually go to, we're in Agege, we're inside in Agege, we go to markets and with a bell, with the jingle playing on our radio to the market. Your marketing strategy depends on your market target. So those are different ways that by which we have and attract different market targets.
Great. Thank you very much, Ma. Spot on. Mrs. Ogungbala, please.
Right. So ours is slightly different because our target markets, because of the kind of products we have and the people that we are targeting, we use social media, Instagram, yes, but 75% of our customers don't come from there because there are people who want to live healthier lives. There are people who agbalagba, like older people that maybe have retired. I want to eat healthy. Those are our target markets. So initially we've tried different types and I'll tell you the downsides to some of them. Before, you will see me in my 12 with some of the sachets of when I'm a completely different person when I'm inside the market, by the way. You see all this glam you are seeing. It's not for the market. So I would literally take on some of the products that we sell, like wear it like I wear Agbada, because I've been privileged to work inside Computer Village at some point in my life, selling phones, screen guard, pouches, and batteries and the likes in Computer Village. So I'm very, very I understand what it means to sell in that kind of area. So I'll go to my 12, carry my sachet of products by my side. I'll stand beside meat sellers because I wanted people that are not in that old people's space to also understand that we have something for economic people, those who are maybe students and they just want to buy something that they want to eat and survive on in their hostels. But the downsides to this was supplying those in the market kind of opened up gaps for fakes and for substandard produce. So we had issues where people started repackaging our products. They started reproducing our labels. They would just pack whatever it is, put the wrapper on it and start selling the market. So that was a bit of a challenge. So we withdrew from selling into the open market. That's one. The second option we tried was stores. And that has been one of the biggest players for us. We supply to stores. Now, that does not come with the cancer of the industry where these people can possibly owe you for months. Sometimes some would owe you for up to 6 months and would refuse to pay. And when the product probably expires or they don't sell or they keep it in such a way that it doesn't preserve the product itself and then they tell you it has gone bad. Is this my problem? So these things come with different issues every day. We try as much as possible to navigate them, but quite frankly, word of mouth, social media helps us a lot. Running sponsored ads has been a very big player for us as well. Because yes, not on Instagram, because our ideal target market is not on Instagram, but on Facebook. So we get quite a number of tractions. We have grandmas, grandpas on Facebook rather than being on Instagram. And so I kind of have like an old soul, I'm able to connect with most of them. They call in as well. So because I know that these people are people that want to buy, they are not people that will come on Instagram and come and shop from us, but their children can see that, refer. So we have stores, we have outlets where they can go to and purchase, or they can call in and then we deliver directly from, we have an office section different from the factory where we do the production. So you place orders, we send it to you wherever it is you are. So those are the things that we do at this time in terms of sales and how we get our customers.
Great, thank you so much. I think one thing that is very common between the two of you in what you have just said is the intentionality. So you understand the market you're trying to reach out to, and you're intentional about it. And that is what I want to leave every one of us here with. You have to be intentional. Mrs. Ario mentioned that, these offices are not even, they don't even know who you are, but you write to them just to introduce yourself. And just, you never know, they might have been looking for somebody that does something that you're introducing to them. And I mean, that's the success we're talking about when opportunity meets preparedness. So this is what I'd like to leave with every one of us listening to us here. The intentionality is very, very important. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ario. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ogunbola. It has been a very insightful topic. It has been a very insightful session for us, and I am blown away. It's making me feel as if maybe I should go and start a farm, but then,
More the merrier. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. We know that you're very busy, and for you to have, dedicated this time to us, we're really grateful. Thank you so much. And this brings us to the end of the session today. Like I said, it has been a wonderful, wonderful session. Please note that we have a feedback form. The link is being posted on the comment section right now. Would like to know and hear from you what you feel about the just concluded webinar and how you think we can improve. Would like to hear from you. And like I said, this brings us to the end of the session. And to give us the closing remarks, I'd like to welcome the unit head of the W initiative at Access Bank. Please welcome with me, Bimpe Gisori. Good evening, Bimpe, and welcome.
Good evening, Ife. Thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to Mrs. Ario and Mrs. Ogunbola. Really, it was really very interesting. You made agric so real, so interesting. Seriously, if impact was human, I really felt the hug. I could feel the passion. I really, seriously. And it's making me look and see, what am I doing also? And seriously, I love the aspect of research. I love that when you said, Google will not help. Whatever you find in Google will not be practicable in Nigeria, which is true. And research, plan, and find your niche. Women, I hope you listen, because I did. Your stories individually was very unique, but the beauty about it is that you made it work. You owned your business and you've learned and you're ready to impact. Seriously, congratulations to everyone. Congratulations on your anniversary in a few days. Congratulations to you to the approval that you just got. I'm sure that will be the first private zoo in Nigeria. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. It's kudos to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, for giving back, telling us your story, giving back to the women, sharing your story, even no matter how it is. Because some people will share stories and will not tell us how it is, how they felt in some aspect, and paint everything as if everything was very rosy. But you've told us the truth, and I know we all listen. Thank you so much for sharing. We are grateful. Thank you. Ife, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bimpe, for the closing remarks. And I understand that a few people have been having issues joining the WhatsApp group, so would just advise that you try to update your WhatsApp so that you're able to access it. Also note that we have put together a few things for the agribusiness sector. So if you're a woman who who works within the agribusiness space and you have at least 50% shareholding in your business, you are able to benefit from these things that we have for you. Do not forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X at the W Community, and make sure to click on the subscribe button below so that you are going to be one of the first people to listen and to get from our to benefit from our offerings that we have for you from the W Initiative. Thank you very much to our speakers once again. You have taken our time to really educate us, and like Bimpe said, you made it so relatable. I could feel myself, I can imagine myself becoming an agriculturist. Thank you so much also to the W Initiative of Access Bank, for always putting things together, amazing sessions such as this. And the beautiful thing is that W Initiative is actually interested in every area of life. So we deal with things that are relating to every segment of life, which is why October is going to be our W Health month. So you need to watch out for every of the things that we're going to be bringing your way. There's going to be discounts, there's going to be screenings, a lot of things will be happening in October, and I am sure that you do not want to miss it. So make sure to follow us across our social media platforms so that you can get first-hand information on this. Very big thank you once again to our speakers, Mrs. Ifeoluwa Ariyo and Mrs. Wuraola Okunbola. Thank you so much once again. We really appreciate your time today. And to you who joined us on this session, we are grateful for your time as well. And I want to believe that you have learned a lot of things that will help you in your agribusiness. For the people who are already in the agribusiness space and for the people who are looking to join the agribusiness sector. Thank you once again for joining. Till we come your way next time, my name is Ifeoluwa Omoto, and this is W, inspiring, connecting, and empowering. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Bye.
And it goes to Margaret.
I'm quite excited to be the winner of the Access Bank Womenpreneur Pitch-a-thon class of 2021. It's been interesting. I don't really know. I don't know how to express my excitement, but I worked hard for it, and I'm sure every other entrepreneur, every other womenpreneur worked hard as well. But being crowned the winner is like a big dream come true for me, and I'm so happy. I want to say thank you to Access Bank, thank you to W Initiative, and may God bless us all. Amen.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a you down, stand to the ground. Yes, we believe in you. Yeah. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on sun shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold ya. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we gon' let that. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you gon' make out. One day. One day you gon' make out. One day you gon' make out. One day you'll be like the sun. Say one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment? If yes,
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W initiative of Access Bank with low interest rates, no loan fees, flexible repayment plan. This is your best bet for financing your health needs. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
the next one could be yours.
Business women can now access a flexible vehicle finance loan specially designed with their interests at heart. Are you a woman in business, or do you know a woman in business who is interested in purchasing a vehicle? If your answer is yes to any of these two questions, then this message is for you. With our exciting loan offers, women in business can now purchase brand new or pre-owned vehicles from the bank's approved vendors with an equity contribution as low as 10%, a competitive interest rate of 15%, and a tenure of up to 48 months. To get started, send us an email on wcares@accessbankplc.com. Share the good news and get on board.